Good evening, everybody. Welcome to GT7. Welcome to PSGL. And it is the final round of Season 2 here on Gran Turismo 7. The final round of the Gr.4 World Tour. And we're at one of the classic circuits on Gran Turismo. And another circuit which has seen many changes compared to previous games. Welcome to the USA. Welcome to the Trial Mountain Circuit. My name is Luke Etheridge. I'll be taking you through the action tonight. 29 laps of the Trial Mountain Circuit, and the first one since the game has received yet another tweak to the physics. So will be very interesting to see how things work out with all of that, to see what sort of efforts for drivers can do, and to see how the tyres work, most importantly, because it does appear that tyre wear has changed quite dramatically since since last week when we last covered the race. Of course, last week looking at what happened in Tier 1, but with what happened in Tier 2, it was a victory, and a first one this season for Nissan. Ramon Ramirez taking the victory there. Yavi finishing in second place. Both of those drivers have been rewarded with a seat in Tier 1 for tonight, so they've made their way up, and Jamie getting by far his best result of the season, finishing in third place, that bumping him up into the top 10 of the championship. You can see there, Solid Ninja Snake, we know, had already won it on 100 points. Brownski second, Yavi third, Steve Owen fourth, Mick McMark, highest place championship member that is racing tonight, does mathematically, and, you know, if he gets the victory, he will end up finishing second in the championship. So he has still got that one to fight for. Definitely worth for him trying to see what performance he can put on around the Trial Mountain Circuit. And there are a few facts of the circuit we are racing on tonight. It is going to be 29 laps, not the 30 laps as it says there, and therefore only a maximum of 7 laps required on each tyre. So that is the state of play for them. I think we could see a lot of drivers doing longer stints on the mediums tonight. It does look, with the way the game's working now, that the medium tyres do last quite a lot longer than they did, well, again, like they did last week. So that is going to be that's going to be really fun indeed to see how that all works out. But enough of what could happen. Let's go into what is happening out there on the track at the moment. And as you can see, qualifying is underway. 8-minute qualifying session there, an open session, as many laps as possible. But you do have to start the race on the tyre that you have qualified on. And as you can see at the moment, Izinyain, the Irishman in the BMW, looking as though he is starting off with a set of the soft tyres. Now, Izinyain, last time out, actually, at Brands Hatch, was his first points in a dry race this season. 8th position for him. His best result so far has been 7th place. Well, actually, no, sorry, his best result was 8th place in Dragon Trail Gardens, but did get himself a fastest lap with that, going on to a set of soft tyres at the end, and he's gone for a set of softs in this qualifying session. Let's see what the Irishman can do as he takes his BMW around a lap of the Trial Mountain Circuit. 3.38 miles, 5.44 kilometres. As we've said, quite different to how it used to be on the previous games. Nothing that has changed, something that hasn't changed. Turn number 1, though, nice and fast, nice and flowing through this part of the circuit. Slight little lift and downshift from Izinyain, and he throws it through turns number 1, 2 and 3. Get as wide as possible with a hairpin at turn number 4. The first possible overtaking opportunity on this circuit, in a corner which does lead to plenty of side-by-side battling. Very undulating, this track set in the Sierra Mountains. You brake hard for turn number 5. 6, not really a corner that you have to worry about too much. It's all just about leading your way in towards the right-hander at turn number 7. Now one of the most important corners on the track. Turn number 8. Hug that left-hand side. Everyone who's played this game knows you can go over the cross hatching. And now you are onto the longest straight of the lap. And this is where we will see the main slipstreaming in the race. This is where we will see the main overtaking in the race. As the drivers will blast their way down here. Speeds over 130 miles per hour. So we're touching 210, 220 kilometers per hour nearly as we reach the end of this straight. And again, braking very hard indeed for your best overtaking opportunity at turn number 9 there. Not attacking the apex as much as he perhaps could have done. And then making your way through 10 and 11. Very similar to that middle part of the lap here. Very fast, very flowing indeed. Braking hard in towards turn number 11. And then into turn number 12 at the bottom of this hill. Again, another possibility of an overtaking point, but very easy to outbrake yourself as the track ducks down. And you may remember the chicane that used to make you take off on previous Gran Turismo games. That has been removed. and replaced with a very fiddly finale to the lap. Turn number 13 and 14, the slowest part of the circuit. Need to get that car rotated as much as possible around the final corner for Izanine. And we'll see what the first lap in qualifying is going to be for the Irishman. He heads towards the line, and it is a 158.938 in the end. HP8 Gamer on a set of the medium tyres. He's going to be the next car. We'll see what Jamie can do. He's gone for a set of hards. Could be a possible favourite to take the win tonight with his third place last time out. Unsurprisingly, quite low down on those hard tyres. Kepler 1.2 off the lead on his mediums. He will probably take that as Mick Mock shoots himself up into second on that set of the medium tyre. And again, that reminder, whatever tyres you start on, you have to finish the race on. As Brownski's actually... that makes sense what Brownski's saying there, just in the chat. Yeah, him and Steve Rowe are going to be P2 and P3 once the race is over, because obviously they were put up into the higher tier. So Mick, still... Well, will they put Yarvi up to P4 then? If that happens. Mick's racing for some pride. You know, has had one podium so far this season at Austria, has had pole position as well at round number 1 at Japan, but the Mercedes, not the friendliest car on the tyres, and it hasn't really suited him from that point of view. Maybe, just maybe, the changes that were made once again with the update, 1.25 with the new cars that have been added, might just help him along, and might just make things a bit more nicer for him, make things work out pretty good for him indeed, as again, making his way towards the end of the circuit. A lot closer to the apex than what we saw from Izanine earlier. So we'll see what kind of lap he can do on the mediums. On this game, it is now appearing that tyre wear is not really a thing. So the drivers can just keep going faster and faster and faster and faster right up until the very end of their lap. They do not have to worry about getting any penalties for that, as Justin Go, I believe, actually. I could be wrong here, but I believe this is the first time we've seen this season one of our reserve drivers getting an opportunity in the final race of the season. We'll see what Mick can do as he makes his way through a set of corners as Izanine goes even faster. I'm not a fan of this new track layout for turns number 13 and 14. The old one felt a lot more flowing, had a lot more risk involved to it. You know, definitely a lot more that could have gone on, as we see Justin Go in the background. It's just got a slowdown penalty. Mick Mock comes towards the line, and in the end does not improve on his time. Stays in second place for now. Leader Reaper in the Jaguar, now the sole Jaguar driver in this tier, has had 2 points so far this season, getting a lovely slipstream off Millsy there. Will that be enough to move him up the order? No, stays in fourth for now. Kisok seeing for only the second, apologies, we're seeing Kisok for a lot more than the second time, fourth time this season we have seen him, yet to get into the points, and he has got a penalty at the moment in that dodge. And as you can see, the penalty line is coming out of turn number 14 and 15, where we have just got, as we go down the order, where we have just got one wing. The Canadian in a beautifully liveried Porsche, making his way towards the finish line now. Great to see the different variation of strategies that we're getting in this qualifying session. Some on the soft, some on the medium, some on the hard, so you're never quite sure what the best setup is going to be. One wing in the end stays in 12th place on that one. Wedgie Boat in 11th at the moment. It looks like a certainty. Izanine is going to be on pole position. Is he going to be able to improve even more? 158.6, his fastest lap on the softs. And as you can tell, he's done 3 fairly pacey laps on those soft tyres. We'll be able to get a few more in. So if you're starting on the softs, you are committing yourself to a 2-stop strategy no matter what. With the way the tyre wear is now, I believe we may see... Because of fuel, we're probably still going to see a lot of people going for that 2 stops, but you never know whether drivers might try and stretch out a 1 stop. If they do have to go for a 2 stop, I think we are going to see the soft tyres get used quite a bit. So it could be soft, medium and hard, 1 stint on each throughout the races here that the drivers will be using, as we're about to get a demonstration. Hopefully, the session doesn't start before... And as I say, the session does start. I was going to say we're going to get a beautiful demonstration there of just how strict the penalty line can be and how much it can cost you. But for the final time here in Tier 2 in Season 2 on Gran Turismo 7 at PSGL, the engine notes are rising and we are getting ready to get this race underway. We've got 5 lights. They go out and we're underway with the Trail Mountain race here. Fairly decent start there by Izanine. Mick Mock trying to challenge him in towards turn number 1 at the moment. Going to have to go the long way around if he wants to try anything, which is very brave on lap number 1, but he's going to be brave at the moment. Isn't Yana Mick McMock side by side through turn 1 on lap 1. Don't expect to see too much of that racing at that point of the circuit, and that might allow Gr.4 to try and throw one up the inside at the moment in the Ferrari. But it is Izinyan leading, Mick McMock second, Gr.4 in third, Lee the Reaper and fourth, Millsy fifth, Kizok, Yutango, Jamie, Dan in the Nissan in ninth place, Roland 10th, One Wing, Wedgiebo, Gamer and B9 at the moment, and the two Porsches battling at the back of the field as we get the cameras reset once more. And you can see they're really starting to come under some severe pressure at the moment. Is Mick McMock. Unsurprisingly, Izinyan escaping away on those soft tyres at the moment. This is what he needs to do for any chance in this race. He needed to hold on to the lead of it as Gr.4 and Mick going side by side in towards the hairpin here, in towards the bottom of the hill at turn number 8. You've got Lee the Reaper on the outside with a brilliant view of what is going on here. There goes the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Down the inside goes the Italian in towards turn number 8. He gets that move done. There's a bit of contact there. I think we saw Lee go into the back of Mick, who then couldn't really stop himself, going into the back of Gr.4, and all of a sudden the Ferrari finds himself in a sandwich and finds himself dropping down the field with damage to the front right part of his car, and that is crucial, really. It's cruel for him as well, but thankfully the damage is a lot less severe than it was on the last update. The new patch seems to have reverted the damage back to how it was around the launch of the game. So Gr.4, despite having that damage, would not write him out at the moment. Still looking good on those medium tyres. Lead calm on the hards as Jamie throws one down the inside there of Dan. These two having a right old ding-dong, the two Nissans at the moment. Jamie the lead calm on the hards. So again, don't write him out at the moment. That's not the greatest of exits from Dan. And that's going to allow Roland to get the move done as well. These Sylvia's 8th, 9th and 10th places. Watch out for where they're going to be at the end of the race. Jamie, fresh off a podium, could be one to watch later on tonight. But at the front of the field, it is Izinyan, 2.5 seconds at the moment, doing exactly what he needs to do on the soft tyres. I think the mediums are probably going to be the main race tyre for the majority of the pack today. Could see in a 29-lap race, I reckon, six laps on the soft should be doable. Might see a few drivers try and push it towards 7 laps, possibly even longer if you are in the Sylvia. Does seem to be a nice car on the tyres, similarly to what we see with the Renault. Medium tyres around about that 14-lap range, and then the hards for 7 or 8 laps, which you have to do 7 laps on the mediums, 7 laps on the hard tyres. If it wasn't for that restriction, I don't think we'd be seeing the hards too much at all today. Not the best tyre now that we have had that update. The two Ferraris, Yutango and Millsy here having their own little battle down the straight. We said getting that corner right, getting out of turn number 8, so important, in towards the hairpin. And that is going to be shut and go down the inside, and Kizok there trying to sneak his way through, and he's managed to make it work there. Has Kizok. He's on the soft tyres in that Dodge, so taking good advantage of them at the moment after a pretty poor qualifying session for him. Moving his way up the field. He is now in towards 6th place, almost losing the car. And that's going to give Millsy an opportunity, but round the outside of this corner is not going to work. But that beautiful, almost Spider-Man, I don't know why it reminds me of a Spider-Man car, that Ferrari at the moment, the black and the red, very nice livery indeed. And that's a little switchback, just allows Millsy down the inside in towards turn number 13 on those medium tyres. And Millsy able to recover to get back in towards 6th place, but that little battle with the Dodge already cost him about 2 seconds to shut and go. We're seeing a big spread at the front of the field. The main battling that is going on for any of the head positions is this one for 6th and 7th, with Jamie not too far back either. Reminder of the point system here in PSGL, just while we watch Kizok try this move down the inside in towards turn number 1. He goes so close to cutting the curb there. So close to cutting off in front of Millsy, and Jamie shoves his way through as well there. Millsy's finding himself getting battered down the field here. Even the soft tyres might be able to do 9 laps around here. Judging by qualifying, Izinyan looked as though he was wearing them out a bit more than that, but we will see. Of course, it does look now like even if you go right down into the red, the tyres have still got a bit of grip left. Definitely not as much as they would normally have, but definitely nowhere near as bad as it would have been a couple of weeks ago pre-patch. So this is going to be one to watch out for. How brave are the drivers going to be when they're going to try and stretch those tyres out. Will we see drivers go on the mediums at the end? Will we see drivers go on the soft tyres at the end of the stint? When they've got a lighter car, when they might be able to make the tyres last a bit longer, take advantage of that lighter car, and possibly get the fastest laps of the race. But it will be getting dark by the end of the race. This is going to be a day-to-night race around here, so going to look quite spectacular later on, I think, as Millsy, after these battles with Go and then Kisok, is just finding himself getting bullied down the field at the moment, in towards 9th place, stuck behind the Nissans, and that is very deep. In towards turn number 12, loses even more time. Dan's had a bit of an issue, so he's dropped into the clutches of the Porsches. It's amazing how we've got sort of cars going along in groups here. HP8 Gamer in the final points place at the moment. And as we were saying, it's the same in the F1 League. 16 for the win, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, and then 6 down to 1 for 5th, down to 10th place, with a bonus point for the fastest lap, as long as you finish inside the top 10. And at the moment, with that fastest lap, it is Izanine. 3.5 seconds, that gap. It does look like his tyres are actually lasting longer than they were in qualifying, which is good news for him. So 9 laps might be more realistic, which I think confirms 7 laps is all you're going to see of the hard tyres. Be very, very surprised if anyone does less. Well, if you do less than 7 laps, you'll get disqualified. I'm not going to see too much point in doing more than 7 laps on a set of the hard tyres around this circuit. Use them for the minimum stint and get them out of the way. And I feel like using them earlier on, possibly when you're stuck in traffic, possibly when you're, if you're on softs or mediums, you wouldn't be using the best pace of them. Might just be the best tactic at the moment, and that might be good news for Jamie and for Pipo Roland. The bad news for Pipo Roland, he's starting to come under some severe pressure at the moment from Millsy. Down the inside goes the Ferrari. Beautiful switchback once again from him. And that is the move done, using the extra grip that the Ferrari and the medium tyres are giving him at the moment. And that is Millsy in a Ferrari with a Mercedes helmet. It's a combination. We'll admit that, We've seen other strange helmet and car combinations. Always does amaze me the designs that the drivers manage to come up with on this game. Some people spending more time designing than driving. And when they come up with ones like that, who can blame them? Absolutely stunning what you can do with the editing on this game at the moment. Well, this is what it's all about more often. This is what it's about, the driving. And at the moment, Millsy having a bit of a pack behind him. Just seeing if he can get some clear air. Seems to have been the driver. The bullied off the track seems harsh, but seems to have been the one involved in the most battles at the moment. And if you go right back to the start of the race, you might remember Gr.4 was also in a battle, and he's the first driver that we've spotted picking up a penalty, and he's no longer going to be the lead Ferrari. That is going to be Go streaking past on the run towards turn number 1. So Gr.4, first driver to fall foul that we've seen of, at least in the race session. The track limits, we saw plenty of drivers getting a slowdown penalties in qualifying, but that is the Italian. He's had a decent season in the races that he's taken part in so far. Missed round number 1, but has had a second place at Croatia, Dragon Trail in the wet. Hasn't had a podium since then. He'll have gone into tonight feeling that it was an opportunity to get a podium. He'll be thinking that he should be in second place at the moment, and he should be the car hunting down Izanine. Instead, he's hunting down a fellow Ferrari. He's all over the back of Go at the moment, who's just sliding all over the road, but he's managing to manage his tyres just a tiny bit better. Margherita versus the Ford livery. We said we get some interesting combinations on here. And even though he's managing his tyres a bit better, not managing his fuel better at the moment. So Gr.4 possibly short shifting, possibly pushing things a bit more in the corners, trying to stretch out the fuel as much as possible. Are we going to see anyone brave a one stop? I think with how good the softs are now, we might as well just be quicker going for that 2-stop strategy. And that is the one I would expect the majority of the field to now do, as Gr.4 thinking about moves one way or the other. Can't do anything at the moment. He's just stuck behind Go, but has managed to keep it clean. Now, this could be an opportunity. Gets a bit of a better exit there, it looked like initially. On the run down towards turn number 12. Slots in behind, turn number 13, sorry. Slots in behind once more. Now in towards the chicane, in towards 14 and 15. This would be a bit of a lunge down the inside from the Italian. And thinks better of it for now. These two really going at it, hammer and tongs. Gap in the lead. Still up at 4.8 seconds, and Mick pulling away comfortably from Lee the Reaper, who's not doing too bad at keeping these two at bay either, especially since Gr.4 got his penalty. On board with the Italian in the Ferrari, down the inside in towards turn number 1. We said it's a possibility, and I think Yachts realised not worth fighting that at the moment. So that's Gr.4 back into 4th place. We'll see how much he can go up the order. We'll see how much he can fight against the rest of the pack. Further back, Jamie's now starting to find some pace in that Nissan. 7th place. Can he take the victory tonight? Can he go all the way around the outside at turn number 4? I think for a second he was thinking about it. But those softs on the Dodge still working very well indeed. We'd expect possibly Jamie and the rest of the Nissans might be in at the end of next lap once they've done their compulsory 7 laps on the hard tyres. Then they'll come out on free air and it's up to them. Do you want to go for the softs? You want to chuck on a set of mediums, and that'll probably dictate how much fuel you're putting in the car as well. If you're going to go for a set of softs, you might be able to get away with not refueling at all. If you're going for a set of mediums, possibly worth putting some more fuel in. And then, of course, not bothering to fill up at the final pit stop. But here comes Jamie down the inside, in towards the hairpin, pulls out the slipstream quite early on. Should be able to get this move done, even with slight disadvantage on that tyre grip. The Dodge is coming back round the outside, though. Goes Kizok, really trying to hold on those soft tyres at the moment. Jamie's managed to take the place, though. And that is Millsy, big into the wall at turn 9. Obviously, we don't get to see any visible damage. Oh, there's more contact. Millsy's off. I don't think he'll be too happy about that one. Managing to get back pointed in the right direction. Just ran wide at turn number 9. Half left the door open there for Pipo Roll-On, who has managed to get away with that unscathed, actually. Tiniest bit of contact between them. And I think, you know, just being offline combined with the damage that he's got meant Millsy couldn't really do anything about that one, and he drops down. Does he drop right to the back of the field? No. Still ahead of one wing at the moment, who is another driver on those hard tyres. Mick, followed by Jamie, followed by Isenyain. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Isenyain, as you can see, possibly, maybe, at the end of next lap, we'll be seeing that BMW coming into the pits, shedding the soft tyres and seeing what he's doing. Mick's not doing too bad at the moment. I think before the race would have been my pick to take the victory. Would have been Mick or Jamie. And definitely fought hard at the start of this race. I think crucial that he didn't get stuck with Kepler, though. Didn't get stuck in any battling. And crucial that he's since then been able to get away from Lee the Reaper. And now that he's in a bit of freer air, Kepler actually slower on that lap than he was when he was behind Jutsengo. So maybe I was being a bit harsh to Jutz. He's doing a good job at the moment. Jutsengo, 5th place on those medium tyres. It's going to be hard for him to get a podium because there are 3 cars ahead of him on the same strategy. And that's what's key on Gran Turismo. It is just, if you can't do it on pace, you've got to try and think, how can I strategize things? How can I work out my fuel loads? How can I try and line up tyre strategy and fuel strategy, which, to be honest, very rarely lines up exactly as you would want it, especially when you want a softer set of tyres, but could work on these mediums. Could work very well for the Ferrari on towards lap, well, nearly at the end of lap number 7. And has nearly gone through half a tank, so fuel-wise, 15, 16 laps won't be a problem, as at the end of lap number 7, about as long as we were expecting it to go, Isenyain is into the pits, getting rid of those soft tyres. Wait and see what he can do. It is quite a long pit lane around here, especially compared to what we saw last week at Brands Hatch, where the short pit lane meant 3 stops was the order of the day from some of the drivers. As you can see, he completely missed off the final part of the lap, hence why it's quite a slow and quite a long pit lane, and Isenyain is just plummeting down the order here. We'll see where he comes out once he is in free air, and we'll see what tyres he goes on for as well. But here comes the BMW. Fresh tyres going on, and we'll see whether he bothers with any refueling in that car. I think he's going to have to at least splash and dash it. If he doesn't put too much fuel in, that suggests to me a set of hard tyres on. If he puts more in, might even be seeing the set of mediums. So going sort of the converse of what you would expect people to do. Normally try to get rid of those slower tyres at the start of the race. Isenyain has gone for the softs and then gone for the set of mediums. So he's going to be on the hards on his final stint. And I think we can all guess what lap he'll be coming in. 22. It's going to be a very busy lap in the pit lane, I think, for drivers to just figure out when they can do their stops, especially if they're going to be on hard tyres for that final stint. Battles going on further down the field. Porsche versus Porsche here. Wedgibo versus HP8 Gamer. Both of them are drivers that have usually been towards the back of the field in the races that they have done so far this season. Wedgibo best finish was 7th place at round number 1. Scored 4 points in the 7 rounds since then. You see B9's on, well, Dan's on the back of this, B9's on the back of this. 5-way battle at the moment for 7th place. I'm surprised we didn't see more cars coming into the pits on that lap. I'm surprised we didn't see cars think about getting rid of those hard tyres. As down the inside goes Dan on Pipo roll-on. These two Nissans were up with Jamie earlier on, but have just had their own little issues. And that is 9th place, as we know stopping sign flashes. You're wanting to hit the brakes at some point. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself having a massive accident. And still the two of them battling side by side. And still B9 just waiting in the wings behind, trying to see whether he can get a move done on these cars at the moment. Here's a view from the onboard on the American's car. You see the roll on down the inside of HP8 Gamer. Bit of a late move there, but manages to get it stopped in time, manages to get it turned in time as well. So that is roll on up briefly in towards 7th place as we see Kizok coming to the pits, but he had a disastrous exit. And that's going to give HP8 Gamer, the pink Porsche, a chance to go round the outside at turn number 1. We know this is a possibility if you've got the momentum. And he's ahead a long, long way before the corner. That is HP8 Gamer up back behind Wedgibo. We're just seeing the different strengths of the car in the different places here. The Nissan obviously has got that grip out the corners. We know that. Porsche doing a very good job, though, in a straight line and just being able to pull away on those medium tyres. How many more laps has he got left on those mediums at the moment? And when will we see these guys come into the pits? When will we see the Nissans come in? Are they considering the one-stop strategy? Because I think if you were going to go 2-stop, mediums to softs, now might be one of the last laps you'd consider coming into the pits. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get the benefit of doing as many laps on the mediums as you'd want, and certainly not doing as many laps on the soft tyres that you'd want. We'd already seen 7-8 laps is around the life of the soft tyres. If you pit now off the hards, you'd only need to get 13 laps out of that set of the medium tyres. Pit next time around, 12 laps, that's definitely doable. But we'll wait and see what the different drivers are doing. As we are hearing, we have got some exclusive news from our own little Ted Kravitz, Brownski. They're one-stopping. So Jamie is going for the one-stop. Mick McMock is also going for a one-stop. He's going to be coming in for a set of hards. Looking at that tyre wear at the moment, possibly lap number 11. I think stretching it to 12 is just going to be too long for him. So we could be seeing Mick into the pits in the next few laps to put on a set of the hard tyres and carry him towards the end of the race. And crucially, his fuel management going well enough at the moment that an 18-lap stint, an 18-lap stint's going to be marginal. Might need to save a bit more fuel, so might need to push it towards lap number 12, Mick, if he wants to get the fuel towards the end of the race. Because if he pits this lap, he's not on for doing 19 laps out of a tank of fuel. He's not on for doing 18 laps out of a tank of fuel. So that's going to be something to think about. He will be going slower, obviously, on the hard tyre, so that naturally saves a tiny bit more fuel. And later on, as you're using less fuel, as you're carrying less fuel, you'll end up using less, so you can save a bit. So possibly not too concerned about that for now. Lee the Reaper in second place. He's doing a good job as well. He could be another driver, definitely, who might be able to pull the 2-stop, or pull the 1-stop off out on this one. Just to go also in the Ferrari. Kepler as well in the Ferrari. He's burning up his tyres a bit more. Purely because of pit lane length. I mean, you can see Izinyan was comfortably in the lead of this race. He's now 37.8 seconds off the lead of this race. So pit stop time, we're heading towards 40 seconds loss in the pit lane. It is extreme around this circuit. Is the 2-stop the right way to go? And if it is, you've got to go aggressive. And Izinyan down in 11th at the moment. I think this is any possible chance of a podium might just slip away the more drivers go for that 2-stop strategy. But they're going to be managing. He is going to be pushing that BMW like it has never been pushed before at the end of this race. And you can see already making some moves up in towards 11th place. As we've now got this pack being led by, well, Peter Roland's got a bit further away. So this pack now being led by GB Dan. With B9 and Wedgiebo still there in the Porsches. Still close on track as they have been all season. B9's best result was a 5th place at Croatia. Since then, though, has yet to feature in the points. Is just hanging on to them at the moment. Could it be another driver going long on that Porsche? How long can he take? How long can he take that set of tyres? It remains to be seen. How long can he take that fuel load as well? In the lead, it's Mick in first, Lee the Reaper in second. Judson go back up into third. We've missed that one. Kepler, though, looking at his times. Possible mistake or penalty on lap number 9 from the Ferrari man. So he has dropped down in towards 4th place once again. And Judson go in third. Because of the job he's doing on his tyres, could be a bit of a dark horse to watch out for. He's looking very nice in that Ferrari at the moment. Would not write him out for a podium in this race, the way things are going. I think we know Jamie's going to be there or thereabouts later on, just because of the pure niceness that Nissan's got on making everything last at the moment, and seeing he's going to be doing a hard stint now, whereas everyone later on, they're going to be possibly on those hard stints, whereas he's going around on the mediums. So at a disadvantage for now, but still only 17 seconds off the lead of this race, with another 6 or 7 laps before we can expect to see him heading his way into, say 6 or 7 laps. I'm just looking at that fuel load, probably more like 4 or 5 laps before we see him coming into the pits for this one. And just the job that these cars are doing on fuel saving, that might be the crucial thing. How much life can you get out of the tyres and how much fuel can you save as well? Mick's managed to stretch the life of those mediums just a bit more. You could see the pace really starting to hemorrhage from that Mercedes. 200s pretty constantly, down into the 202s now. We'll see what this lap's going to be for our race leader, Lee the Reaper. Not really closing in. Better lap that time around. 201.3 from him compared to a 202.0 from the Jaguar, his slowest lap of the race. And Mick has got that lead up towards 4.2 seconds. When will these be coming in for their one and only stop of the race? I think for Mick, it has to be this lap. He has got no choice. Those tyres are not lasting 1 lap more. For Lee the Reaper, could possibly stretch maybe 1 or 2 more laps. And that means you're putting in less fuel at the end of the pit stop. That means you're doing more laps on the faster tyre. That could be crucial as well. This is going to be a close race. No championships to fight for. We've already spoken about the Drivers' Championship. In the Constructors, Renault have 196 points. Jaguar second at the moment on 68. Mercedes 59. Nissan 53. Shows how good that car is despite only being part of the championship for the last 5 races that we have seen. Ferrari on 50. Porsche 17. BMW 8. Toyota on 5. And McLaren and Dodge yet to score any points. And it doesn't look like they're going to at the moment, as this is Isinyan making a move on Wedgiebo. Up into 8th place goes the BMW. But he has that 1.5 second penalty as Millsy retires from the session. Millsy leaves the session, so that is an effective retirement. This isn't F1. You aren't able to get back in, so we won't be seeing him for the rest of the race. Really not been the race he would have liked. Got involved in quite a few incidents, some of which, I think you can definitely say were not his fault. And that is Millsy, the first retirement from this race. As we expect to see a Mercedes diving towards the left-hand side of the circuit very soon, do we? No. This is what we were on about. The tyre gauge, once it gets down to red, you still have some grip left in it, and Mick's taking advantage of that. But he's lost about 1 second already on this lap to Lee the Reaper. Gains a bit there. I think Lee must have just gone a tad too deep into some of the corners. Mick on that occasion, it's going to be a 203.1. 203.1 from Mick compared to a 201.9 from Lee the Reaper. Is this the best strategy from Mick? Should he have possibly come into the pits on the last lap? Has he just gone 1 lap too long? And are we going to see him drop into the clutches of some of those other cars as well? Jamie still tootling around on the hard tyres. He's now actually going faster than those towards the front of the race. So his tyre's still in a good condition. It's fuel load, I think, what Jamie needs to worry about at the moment. He's going to have no issues, I don't think, with tyre wear on the mediums. But another 3 or 4 laps and we'll be seeing Jamie make his way into the pit stops as well. Pipo Roland 6th place, 15 seconds off the back of Jamie. Dan in 7th, Isanya in 8th, Wedgiebo 9th, B9 in 10th, Gamer in 11th as One Wing into the pits at the end of lap 12 off the hard tyres. Now, this is an interesting one. This can only be some sort of two-stop strategy from the Canadian. Do not see you getting those mediums 17 laps into this race, especially with that rate of tyre wear that he's got on the hard tyres at the moment. Lovely Tim Hortons livery. Bit of fuel going into the car. I'm not sure there's any point putting enough fuel to get you towards the end of this race at this moment, but it is definitely filling up quite a lot at the moment. It looks like this is going to be a medium stint, and then arguably soft tyres taking him towards the end of the race. So that is One Wing out of the circuit, out onto track, and he has come out in last place. And I think Mick has just gone that one lap too long on these tyres. He's still trying to stretch them out. Mick is losing all sorts of time at the moment. All of a sudden, Lee the Reaper right onto the back of him. As Mick just stretched that tyre life out a bit too far from what should have been ideal. Here's a view from the Jaguar, Kepler into the pits at the end of lap 13. Let's not forget, out of the Ferraris that are left in this race, he was the one that was just taking a bit more out of his tyres, so he's going to be on hards towards the end. 2:02.2 for the Jaguar, 2:04.3 for Mick. Why, oh why, oh why is he still struggling out there on a set of the medium tyres? Is this how much he wants to avoid that set of the hard tyres? And I think very soon he's going to be losing this lead of the race because he's got no front-end grip whatsoever in that car, just trying to coax it around the corner. Lee sitting in behind. For Lee's race, he needs to get this moved on as quickly as possible. Cannot afford to be stuck behind the Mercedes for one corner longer than he needs to. Otherwise, things swing towards Just Go. Things swing towards possibly not Isanya, Jamie, and things swing towards Kepler as well, who's just coming into the pits, taking that wider line round the outside. I don't think it's the intention. It's all going to be about straightening the car up and getting the better exit. Here comes Lee the Reaper then, on the back of the Mercedes. He won't be feeling very blessed for too much longer because he's going to see a Jaguar streak his way down the inside sooner rather than later. Out of the tunnel they go, side by side. The two of them. The Jaguar has the inside line. He's got the extra grip on those medium tyres. And Lee the Reaper takes the lead of the finale here at Trail Mountain. Now, how much longer can he go on his tyres? And how much longer can he go with that fuel load? Because I think lap 15 is going to be done for Lee the Reaper. We could even possibly see him come into the pits on this lap. Judson might have another lap or two left in him in that Ferrari at the moment. He's done a very solid job on those medium tyres, has the Ferrari man. As we said, we've not seen him so far this season. Oh, sorry, apologies. We have seen him a couple of times this season. We saw him at Austria and at Brands Hatch, but this is the first time I've seen him this season. And he is impressively, greatly. Lee the Reaper and Mick McMott both follow each other into the pits then at the end of lap number 14. We've got a new race leader, and it is Judson Go. He is the last of the lead medium runners to be out there on the circuit. And Jamie now just closing that gap towards the leaders, doing a very good job indeed. But his fuel's looking pretty critical, so he's going to have to stretch the mediums, possibly a tiny bit longer than he... about as much as I think as he would have liked. So yeah, Jamie I would not write out of this one just yet either. And we'll see where Lee and Mick McMott come out onto the circuit. Both of them putting the hard tyres on. Plenty of fuel will be going in these cars. Quite a long pit lane time in terms of the refueling here, because it is quite a slow refueling rate, which is why I think if you're in Judson Go's situation and you've managed to stretch that extra bit of time out, you're not doing too bad, especially if you can get the fuel load to match as well, because you're putting less stress into the tyres. You've got more out of the faster tyres. You're doing quite well indeed. HP8 Gamer also into the pits as well. Lee the Reaper comes out, and that's the advantage of pitting earlier on. And whoa, this is a different strategy that I don't think we were expecting. Kepler GT has gone for a set of the soft tyres. Now, it was looking like one stop is the faster strategy. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what Kepler's done there. He's gone for a set of softs. He's going to be flying around, no question about that. He's going to be catching up and overtaking so many cars at the moment. He's got to do an extra pit stop. He's got to put more fuel in. And I think the Italian, realising that he wasn't winning the race, copied everyone else's strategy Why not be bold? Why not try something completely different? At the halfway point of this race, he is in 8th place. It is Jutsengo in the lead then. Jamie in 2nd. Both of these drivers have to come into the pits, and we are seeing the Ferrari in now. Jutsengo enters the pit lane at the end of lap number 15. Jamie, he also comes into the pit. So our lead car, someone who has already pitted, is Isinyan, but he has got one more stop to do, of course, to put on the hard tyres later on. Pipi Rollon in 4th place. He has to come into the pits. Might just see him stretch out another lap out of those hard tyres. He'll be going on the mediums later on. Dan in 5th place. Not... Oh, he is actually coming in this lap. I'm surprised. Well... Yeah, he does want to use the mediums, I think, and take advantage of the pace. But this should be a fairly short stop compared to some of the others because he's done quite well on his fuel. You can see there, got more fuel in the car than some of the others. B9 in 6th place. Will we be seeing him come into the pits? No, he stays out a bit longer, as does Wedgiebo, having his own little battle here with Gr.4 GT. The Ferrari should be able to get the cutback done out of this corner. Should have the superior grip, but Wedgiebo somehow able to get that car stopped. And that's the way the strategies work now. It's not as clear-cut as perhaps it should be with the tyre wear. Whether you're able to get these moves work. Coming through turn number 1, Wedgiebo has to yield though. And there we go. That is Gr.4 up into 4th place at the moment. But he's gone for a 2-stop strategy, and he's now 15 seconds behind Isinyan, who is also on that 2-stop strategy. And Jutsengo has come out as the lead car that does not have to stop again. Mick Mock not too far behind him, but this could get very tasty indeed. Jutsengo in 6th place. The 5 cars in front of him all have to come into the pits for either their only pit stop, or in the case of Isinyan and Gr.4, for their 2nd pit stop. Jutsengo in the net lead of this race. Mick Mock in 2nd place. Jamie 8.8 seconds off Jutsengo on a set of the medium tyres. That is the advantage he's got. He's got 14 laps to use these mediums for all they're worth and see if he can get a 2nd straight victory in a row for the Nissan. And the start of the season was, of course, the domination from the Renaults. We did see Steve-O take a victory in a Jaguar as well, but normally it was the Renaults doing best. Now that they've gone up to the top tier, we've seen, obviously, Brownski in the top tier last week alongside Solid Ninja Sake. Solid's there this week with Yabi. You can watch that T1 race live now, and you can also watch our first round of the Crossplay Cup. The best drivers on PlayStation and Xbox, bringing you the action over the next month or so. So make sure to check that out and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the bell to be notified about all the PSGL videos with, starting very soon, of course, season number 32 on the F1 side of things. Pipo Rollon into the pits, so he's going to drop down the order from 3rd place. And Jamie's already gained a 2nd on Mick Mock. That prediction that we saw in the chat of Jamie taking the victory just starting to look like it might be a wise one. Just starting to look like it might be the best prediction we've seen for a while. As long as he can manage those tyres, as long as he doesn't get over aggressive, and as long as he doesn't pick up any penalties. Further up the field, Jutsengo's lead, not really, well, lead over Mick Mock is coming down. 0.8 seconds at the moment. Mick's putting in some good places here, putting in some good pace. Arguably, you'd say Mick's the faster of these two. Certainly looked to be that way at the start of the race. And if Mick's losing 1 second a lap to Jamie, just imagine how much Jutsengo's leaving. I think all of a sudden, Jutsengo's momentum's probably thinking about, well, his mind's thinking about, right, can I finish in 3rd place? Can I hang on to that position at the moment? The gap between Jut and Isinyan, 31 seconds. Isinyan is going to have to put a tiny bit of fuel in on his next stop, but might still actually come out round about where Jut and these guys are at the moment. So there could still be a battle for 2nd place going on between Jut, Mick and Isinyan later on. And we'll see how much they can defend from Jamie. We've seen already from Gr.4 making his moves up the order. Just because you're on the faster tyres, it's not the easiest places to make moves this circuit. Isinyan in the lead though, 12 seconds at the moment from Gr.4 GT, who we think will be coming in at the end of, well, he's got to come in by lap number 22. Those on the 2 stops that haven't used the hard tyres, which is both of them, at the moment. Izanyan and Kepler as B9 just about get through the pits in time with no fuel. Wedgibo follows him in as well. We'll be seeing Izanyan and Kepler into the pits, I believe. Oh no, we'll be seeing Izanyan into the pits much sooner than that. His mediums are dying at the moment. He's not going to get to lap number 22. Kepler, possibly lap 21, 22. We'll be seeing that Ferrari come into the pits. So maximising his medium stint, maximising that soft stint, and making sure that you've only got 7 laps to do on the hard tyres. How much can he push for the rest of this race? He's 20 seconds already ahead of Jut and Go, but will be on hard tyres later on. As well Mick and Jot, and as Jamie will not be. He's, of course, on the medium tyres. We have just, as we were looking through the field, we have seen Mick McMark has made a move then. He's got himself up into third. He is in, you could arguably say, the net lead at the moment, but Izanyan still putting some good pace in. Kepler's flying ahead of them, and Jamie's catching up behind. Any one of those 5 cars could take the victory in this race. It is looking very dramatic indeed. You need to be a brave person to bet on any single one of them taking the checker flag around here, as night is starting to fall at the Trial Mountain circuit. You're definitely needing those lights on at the moment, and we'll see how that affects the concentration of the drivers. We'll see if they get any braver. You've just seen Jamie starting to just peek his way in towards the distance there in the background. He's got that gap down to almost 5 seconds on Jut and Go at the moment. Leader Reaper still doing a good job in 6th. I think they're going to lose a bit less on fuel this time, because they shouldn't really, Kepler especially, shouldn't really be putting as much fuel in as they did earlier on. So I know Izanyan lost about 40 odd seconds earlier on. So we'll wait and see what can happen. Izanyan into the pits then at the end of lap number 18. A lot longer harder stint than I think you would have wanted, especially on a 2-stop strategy. For whatever reason, we've seen him at top tier. The BMW is a fantastic car. Aphelion, almost certainly, barring some chaos tonight, and you'll be able to check that out with Webber Red right now. Barring some chaos, Aphelion is taking the championship tonight in Tier 1. Izanyan's just, I mean, obviously, 2 very different drivers, possibly 2 very different driving styles as well. No offence to Izanyan, but unsurprisingly being a Tier 1 champion-elect, Aphelion is a better driver, so might just be able to get the car working better. Izanyan's not been able to do a great job tonight. He's done 2 stops, only on lap number 18. Fuel going into that car, and this is where we see him now starting to drop a lot more down the order. Yeah, not ideal whatsoever for him, tumbling down with that slow fuel stop. Why on earth has Izanyan put a full tank of fuel in? You've only got 11 laps to go. You are not going to use all of that fuel. That is a certain mistake from our race leader. Izanyan has filled the car right to the brim of fuel when he had no need to, and that's going to give Kepler a beautiful chance to stick with him. Gap at the lead, 23.6 seconds at the moment. I think Kepler is going to come out ahead of Izanyan. Well, watch where he comes out relative to Leader Reaper. Top 5 could still be on. What will be then top 4 could still be on for him, and he has got that bonus point for the fastest lap at the moment. The only driver on a 1:58. We'll see whether any of those further back come into the pits and decide to try and take that off them later on. Gr.4 that soft tyre on. Mick still though in the net lead of this race at the moment, 0.6 seconds ahead of Jut and Go. Jamie closing that gap every single lap. Got a bit of a familiarity to the Formula 1, except this time we've got Jamie chasing 2 cars ahead of him, and that lead car is still a Mercedes on the hard tyres. Can Mick hold on? Pole position in the first race of the season. Can he hold on here to take his first victory of the season? Will Jamie be able to get that move done, or is Jut and Go still got a part to play in this, in that Ferrari? Will we see him holding on to the fuel? This is going to be a this is going to be an interesting one, I think, at the moment. On towards the final 10 laps for these guys then. Mick McMark in second, Jut and Go in third, Jamie in fourth. One of these drivers in 10 laps time, so about 20 minutes, will be taking the checkered flag as the victor in our final race of the season. Kepler at the front of the field. Just got to... he's going to be probably lap 21, I think he's going to be coming into the pits, which is less than ideal for him. How much can he stretch those tyres out At the moment, you add 45 seconds to his lap time. It's actually going to come out round about where Pipo Roll-On is. We've completely forgot about Pipo on those medium tyres. Another driver in the Nissan. He's managed to get the move done on Isenine. So let's see what he can do later on in this race. Let's see if he can close up to some of these other drivers. That's going to be interesting indeed. But I think if Gr.4 pitted now, he'll come out just ahead of the Paraguayan man. But on a worse set of the tyres, has got to go for the hards, and I'm not sure why he's gone for this strategy. Yes, he's had fun. Yes, he's set the fastest lap, but having to go on for the hards for the final stint has really killed him. He was not too far behind Juttengo, and if he was in that position, then you've got to say he's in a position to possibly take the victory in this race. And he'll be staying out for one more lap. He's still setting fantastic lap times. 1:59.2s from him, 2:01s from the cars behind, from Mick McMark and Juttengo. He's just dropped a bit further back on this lap. 2 minutes dead for Jamie on that Nissan at the moment. Just 4 seconds off of Mick for now. And now that Juttengo's dropped out of the slipstream, probably going to be easier pickings for the Nissan, who got his first podium last time out as he watched Ramon Ramirez, as he was known at the start of the season, has now joined the UXF squad as... Oh! That is the one thing that could cost Jamie in this race. Picking up the time penalty. 1.5 second penalty for Jamie. And we saw there, the gap's 2.3 as they're coming out of this corner. Let's see how much it is on the run towards turn number 1 next time around. Because he did pick up that penalty quite late, of course. So we'll see what happens here with Jamie. He'll probably catch up another second on this lap. I think he'll be back around 2.5, 3 seconds behind Juttengo by the time they cross the finish line next time around. And that he cannot afford to do. He's got to try and keep things clean at the moment as much as he possibly can. Yes, can afford the odd mistake, but does not want to be picking up penalties with regularity. But that stands for these front drivers, and Juttengo now, you can see 1.3 seconds behind Mick McMark. Can he somehow close back into that slipstream? And Gr.4's carrying on. Could be the final lap we see the Ferrari out there. 26 seconds his lead. And as we said, he'll be coming out around about this Isenine Pipo battle, which is still going on. Let's see how things look on board with the Nissan. This is proving, I think, what we were talking about earlier. Just because you've got the, on paper, faster tyres does not make overtaking a sure-done thing around here. And Isenine, even with a completely heavier fuel load, which he had no need to put in his car, they're still doing a pretty good job at keeping that Nissan at bay at the moment. And this could just drag the other Nissan of GB Dan back into things. So a battle for possibly 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th at the end of this race. One Ring's having a better job of things at the moment. He's in 9th, B9 in 10th, Wedgiebo 11th, Kisok in 12th. And HP Gamer is our final runner, as here comes the Ferrari, here comes our race leader. Gr.4 into the pits for the final stop. And that is going to promote Mick McMark into the lead of the race. Can he hold on for the final 8 laps? Can Juttengo put up a challenge? Or can Jamie, once he gets rid of that penalty, will he be able to close right back up once more? He said he'd be about 1.3 seconds behind as he makes his way in towards this chicane. We'll see how far behind he is on the way out of things. He's almost evenly spaced at the moment. He's had a very good chicane there, as Jamie. And then just for demoralisation, as all that lovely pace that you've grown goes to leave you right behind. And all of a sudden, as they cross the finish line, 3 seconds is the lap. Gr.4 into the pits. Tyres have changed. Fuel now going into that car, which is good news for him. And I think, yeah, because of that shorter pit stop that he had, because, you know, less fuel needed to go into his car, Isenine probably ruining that mistake of putting too much fuel into the car. There we go. Gr.4 is now out in towards 5th place. 5.5 seconds behind Lee the Reaper. Gonna have to be a mighty job in the final 8 laps. And if you're driving like that, you're more likely to get a penalty than to get any positions gained. So the Ferrari looks like 5th place will be the best he's able to do. As people roll on round the outside at turn number 4. Not able to make that one work. Can he get the switch back though? Out of the corner, he can indeed. That is where you can use the extra pace of your tyres. And that is the Paraguayan up in towards P6. Now it's a slim chance, but he has got a slim chance of catching up to Gr.4. 7 seconds in 7 laps, well, in 8 laps, should just be about manageable. Everyone has now done their compulsory pit stops. Everyone has done, as long as they finish the race, they are going to do their compulsory number of laps on the tyres that they needed to. So great to see that no one has forgotten that role. Here comes Isenyain, just in the slipstream of Pipo Roll-On at the moment. He's probably best. He's not going to be close enough on this lap. That Nissan doing a very good job indeed. Very aerodynamic. The Sylvia. Isenyain, if he can somehow hold on, might still have an opportunity later on in this race. But I think from starting on pole position, finishing down in 7th, not what you would have wanted. Definitely be thinking about the things he could have done differently. And who knows how this race could have turned out. And who knows how it is going to turn out at the front of the field. 7 to go at the end of this one. Less than 15 minutes of this Tier 2 season to go. Mick McMark in the lead of this race. Justingo in 2nd place. Jamie not getting a penalty, still gaining over a second a lap on these guys, and he's within 3 seconds almost of the race lead at the moment, pulling away from Leader Reaper, who is also pulling away from Kepler. One wing into the pits. His medium tyres are short, so it'll be soft tyres possibly going onto that Porsche, but it can be quite heavy on its tyres. We've seen that earlier on, so possibly even thinking about... Nah, he'll go for the softs. And this is a soft and the fastest lap challenge from him, so that promotes Wedgiebo and B9 further up the field. Kisok in 12th, still going around in the Dodge, which is great to see. And HB8 Gamer in that last place at the moment. But all eyes going to be on this battle for the lead of this race. And after a couple of bad laps, Justingo's got onto the back of Mick again, which for now is going to be quite an annoyance for Mick. I imagine later on when Jamie joins this train, they'll be quite grateful just to have that little buffer. Of course, he might not have a buffer if Justingo decides to go for an overtake at any point in this. He's really looking as though he's got that Ferrari hooked up. We saw this in stint number 1 from the Ferrari man. Didn't look to have the pace of those ahead of him. But all of a sudden, once the fuel started coming off the car, once a bit of tyre wear had started coming to play, Justingo looked like he had some very decent pace. And he'll be thinking, if I'm getting held up here, I need to get the move done and see if I can get away before Jamie starts catching up. The last thing I want is to be in a situation where I can't really make an overtake because I'll be pushing myself offline and just opening the door for what is possibly the best car in the class in this field at the moment. Mick, Jut and Jamie all in that same chicane at the same time. And 6 laps to go. We'll of course know that Jamie will have been the fastest one on that lap. Mick McMark comes across the line down into the 201s again. 201.4, 201.3, 159.9 for Jamie. His fastest lap of the race. He's really starting to turn the screw. He'll be getting bigger and bigger in the mirrors of that Ferrari every single lap, putting that pressure on and really trying to prove what he can do. Pipo Roll-On, he's also putting in some good times at the moment. He's closing up to the back of Kepler, so another top 5 for a Nissan. Could be the one here, and Kepler, like we said, probably ruin that strategy he's gone for at the moment, because he'd have probably now been in between Jamie and Lee the Reaper, to be honest. But you never know. If it wasn't for the odd mistake, could indeed have been even further up the order. And I think we can safely say now, this is a free car battle for the lead. Nissan versus Ferrari versus Mercedes. After this lap, they're only going to be heading now through the tunnel towards the heavy braking zone out turn number 9 for 5 more times. That's 5 more possible easy overtaking opportunities. I'm not sure anything's easy in this tier, as here comes Justingo down the inside of Mick McMark, doing, I think, exactly what we expected. He said as soon as he feels like there's any pressure coming in from behind, he's going to get the move done, and that is Justingo briefly into the lead of this race. And I say briefly because the Mercedes of Mick is fighting for all he's worth at the moment to see if he can retake that position. And the more they squabble, the more that's going to allow Jamie to catch up to the pair of them. Jamie thinking about a move down the inside, not able to get it done. In towards turn number 13, they head in towards 14. Not really close enough, either of them, to make this move work at the moment. This is going to be such a fascinating end. Jamie has certainly got the pace, but how much can he use it now that he's stuck behind the Ferrari and stuck behind the Mercedes? It is definitely the new Nissan. Justingo, Mick McMark, Jamie. 5 laps to go at the end of this one. The man on the faster tyres has hunted them down. Will it be a second successive victory for Nissan, which won in the Constructors' Championship? Bump them up possibly with, 2 of them in the race at the moment. Would possibly bump them up ahead of Mercedes. Don't think they'll quite catch up to Nissan to take that second place in the catch up to Jaguar, sorry, to catch that second place in the championship. But definitely looking as though they will get ahead of Mercedes at the moment, with Jamie being in third and Pipo Rolo actually dropping down towards seventh. So he's made a mistake somewhere and has dropped back behind Isenjain, who is having his best race of the season. Could well be his highest point. Well, it'll be his best result as long as he manages to retain a place in the top 7. All of a sudden, Juttungo's found some pace in that car, and Mick McMark looks like he is just struggling a tiny bit more. He's almost dropped outside of that 1 second, so the slipstream going to be less powerful for him. It's certainly powerful enough for Jamie at the moment. He pulls to the inside in towards lap number 9. Well, in towards turn number 9, and there we go. Similar to how we saw just 2 minutes ago, Mick McMark loses a place into the hairpin. He was leading the race. He is down in towards 3rd place as things stand. We'll see if he can get a second wind. We saw Juttungo get that second wind after he was overtaken. Has Mick just taken too much out of the front on those hard tyres at the moment? And will he start to struggle to just hang on to the back of these guys? And now for Juttungo, he's got to go. He's got to put his foot down. He's got to see what he can do in the final 4 laps of this race, because that looked very straightforward for Jamie. Coming out of turn number 8, they just seem to be able to get the switch back on the faster tyres and make those moves work. We go to the cars further back. Isenjain, he himself not doing too bad. He's showing good pace in that BMW. Possibly too little too late to catch up to Kepler. Pipo, we'll see if he can catch back up, and we'll see whether GB Dan could also get involved in his Nissan as well. So that little mistake, I think, has ruined any chance Pipo had of certainly catching up to Kepler. He might also now not be able to catch up to Isenjain as well. But here we are, back onto the leaders of this race. 4 to go for them. Here's the man to watch for at the moment, in towards turn number 4, Jamie. Pace has just slowed off a bit. Now that he's started to get stuck in overtakes, it only makes sense that his pace is just going to drop off. Whether he's close enough on this lap, I'm not quite so sure. Definitely got more pace at this point of the circuit. We'll see what he can do. Coming out of turn number 7, very nice indeed. If he just gets his exit right into turn number 8, Juttungo should be in trouble. And you can see the Ferrari not able to get as close to the apex as he would have wanted, and he could well be vulnerable down this straight. This is the easiest overtaking opportunity on the track. We said that before the start of the race. That is proving to be the case now. Juttungo tested Vane on the outside, Jamie to the inside, and that is going to be as cool as you like from Jamie down the inside. And we have a new race leader for the first time in this race. The Nissan takes the lead. Now will he be able to hold on, or can Juttungo somehow find some more pace? That front right might be slightly concerning for Jamie, but should still be able to make it manage nice and comfortably towards the end. I mean, we did see earlier on with Mick, was able to do a couple of laps even once it had gone into the red, but it was not comfortable. We'll see whether Jamie can just pull away a gap in this race and take the victory. Jamie leads, Juttungo second, Mick McMark in third. Will we still have a freeway battle in the final 3 laps of this one, or will the Nissan with the tyre advantage start to pull away at the front of the field? So further back, Lee, he's had a bit of a lonely final stint, hasn't he? Lee the Reaper, just seeing this battle for the lead going on in front of him, not quite had the pace to stick with them, even though last lap around he was, well, a couple of laps ago he was faster than Mick. Just made, I think, a slight mistake on that lap. You can see Kepler 5th, Isenjain in 6th place. Pipo Rolo trying for all he's worth to get his way back up towards the BMW. That's going to be a battle to watch later on. Last lap around gained 7/10 of a second. Needs to find a bit more if he really wants to get involved in that one. But I think other than that, every single place is looking pretty much secured at the moment. Jamie's, ooh, that's very wide from Jamie. Coming out of turn number 6 there, not the line you would have wanted to be taking. Looks like he's got away with it, but just needs to be careful. We said that front right starting to wear out. The front left would have been the corner, taking all the hits at that part of the circuit. As Jamie just pulling over to break the toe there. Clearly feeling like he needs to. Clearly not feeling the most comfortable. on those medium tyres. Possibly. Still a prime opportunity for Jut and Go. Mick's hanging in there, just hanging a bit further back. It is going to be, barring an absolute calamity, Mick's second podium of the season. First one in the dry conditions. It's going to be by far Jut and Go's best result of the season. And it is going to be Jamie's second podium of the season. Will he be P1? Will he be P2? Could still be in P3. I've got some lap traffic just crossed, well, soon to be lap, possibly. Traffic crossing the finish line, but I think they are well far enough ahead, about 10 seconds ahead of this battle at the moment. So that car should not be a concern, as that's Mick just giving the final corner. That little love tap at the moment, not ideal at all. Drops him a bit further back from Jut and Go, outside of that 1 second mark. Just losing the slipstream, will be a bit less powerful, but less dirty air, so might help him a bit through the corners. Jamie now into the lead by more than a second. He's starting to turn the screw. He's starting to pull away once more. Jut and Go on the last lap. This is where Jut and Go had a bit more pace, but I'm not sure now he's going to be able to take advantage of that, unless Jamie again goes incredibly wide out of some of these corners, and that is a much sidier section of the lap. Nearly a PB. It was here where it all almost came a cropper for Jamie last time. I think he's learned his lesson, and I think with that, barring any mistakes, barring any penalties, and we've seen Jamie pick up one already, that should be his first win of the season. Can Mick do anything to get second? Can Jut and Go do anything to take the lead in this race? Kepler has picked up a 2-second time penalty in that Ferrari. Well, this is going to be interesting because, of course, we know how penalties work on this game. 2 seconds is a lot harsher than 2 seconds, so that's going to allow Izinyan to get a bit closer to him. Pipo Roland's made another mistake, and he's now got Dan all over the back of him. So there are still battles going on here. And I think Kepler has just provided us with a bit of extra inadvertent entertainment towards the end of this race. And he's not got a lot of fuel left either. He was really short fueling on that stop. We knew it would be a quicker stop, not needing a lot of fuel, as he almost hits the wall coming out of turn number 8. And that is Pipo Roland losing the position. Down the inside goes Dan in towards turn number 9. Pipo's going to try and hold this off round the outside. Not going to have the grip to do so. And that is Dan back into 7th. You've got to wonder for both of these. I think Pipo especially, because he has shown fantastic pace at some point. If it wasn't for the mistakes, where would he be? 28 seconds behind Jamie at the moment, who is just about to start his final lap of the race, the final lap of the season. And Jamie has a 2-second lead. Surely now all he has to do is be nice and calm and bring it home. And he's going to claim his first victory. And Nissan's second in succession. Jut and Go has fought hard, not able to hold on though. Looks as though, barring any mistakes, he should be safe to secure Ferrari's best result of the season, joint with Kepler at Dragon Trail Gardens, and their best result in the dry of a second position. Mick in 3rd, Leela Viper, Lonely Race in 4th place. Kepler now 2.2 seconds ahead of Izinyan. The BMW is going to be tantalisingly close, but I don't think on those hard tyres it's going to have anything to fight back with. And Dan has pulled away from Pipo Roland as well, so the last lap battles not really materialising, I think, in the way we would have liked to have seen. Great to see Kisak on one wing and HP8 Gamer fighting right until the end. In fact, that could be a battle to watch, because one wing's on the soft tyres and Kisok's mediums have almost died, as you can see by that line he's taking through the chicane there. So 11th place, no points rewarded, but there's certainly going to be some pride, and there's certainly going to be some battling, I think, going on between all of those. As in towards the final few corners comes Jamie then in the Nissan. Was the lead car to qualify on the hard tyres. Took that pain early on, stretched them long enough that he could get a stint on the mediums, do the one-stop strategy. With those top 4 drivers ordering the one-stop, it has certainly been the way to go, in contrast to last week. Much longer pit lane at Trail Mountain than there is at Brands Hatch. And it's been a fantastic end to the season for the Nissans. Jamie around the chicane for the final time. He's fought hard all season, and it's finally starting to come good for him in the final few races. He had a podium last time out. He's gone 2 better this time at Trail Mountain. The final race in Tier 2. Jamie crosses the line to take the victory here at Trail Mountain. Jut and Go in 2nd place. Mick McMock in third position. Their hard tyres just not giving them the pace that they needed, but well-earned podiums for both of them. And a best result of the season by far, Lee the Reaper comes home in 4th place. Kepler will be 5th, Izinyan in 6th. Roland and Dan are going to have a bit of a drag race towards the finish line here, and it's going to be the Paraguayan who takes home 7th place. Dan will come home in 8th. B9 and Wedgiebo will be the final points finishers, and we said One Wing and Kizok were going to have a battle, and then we're going to watch this go on towards the end of the race, and there we go. One Wing has just managed to use his soft tyres to come out good in 11th place for him. B9 and Wedgiebo the final points finishers as we wait for the final cars to come across the finish line. But for the first time this season, in the final race, it is a win for Jamie. A well-earned win as well. We saw getting the overtakes done, not the easiest thing on this circuit. Turn 8 proving to be this crucial corner in terms of getting the run in towards turn 9. That is what we sort of saw all race long, really. That is where the moves were being made, especially if you had the extra grip on your tyres. And a very nice race indeed. I'm sure Jamie will be delighted. I'm sure Judson go as well. I think fair play to him. Did a fantastic job today. Not someone I probably would have expected to be up there with some of these guys, of course, but he's done a great job in the races he's taken part in this season. That is, we've seen him in 4 races. He's managed to pick up 20 points. That is not bad going, and might be one to watch next season. A bit more about next season will be revealed later on. I think we've had the final cars coming to us for line now. HP8 Gamer is going to be the final one to cross the finish line. Manages to stay on the lead lap. Managed to stay in 13th place. But once again, as we said, your winner, second race in a row, it's a Nissan. And another different winner this season. Jamie takes the checkered flag, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from Jamie soon. We'll try and see if we can get him into the interview rooms, and of course the rest of our podium sitters. Let us know if there's any questions you'd want to ask. I imagine Brownski's any questions he'd have wanted to ask, he's been able to already. He's been in the same PS party as the two of them throughout the race. Yeah, very intriguing race indeed. We saw, well, we saw 3 different strategies sort of involved at the start of that race. And Izinyan in the chat saying he never should have done a 2-stop in the Discord. And that was key. 2-stop was certainly not the way around this circuit, I think it's fair to say. The 2-stop was just a big mistake. And I think Kepler as well will probably also be feeling the same way, that a 2-stop was a big mistake. Because he'd have at least been there or thereabouts to where I think Lee the Reaper was towards the end of that one. If he'd have done a 1-stop strategy, could have possibly even fought for another podium, but in the end that is not the case. And well, that's just the way things work sometimes in racing. It doesn't always go exactly to plan. But I can tell you, we are now starting to get a few drivers starting to come in for the interview, so we're going to get started with a race winner for the first time this season. It is Jamie. The 1-stop strategy clearly proving to be the best one today.
Yeah, by far, it was the best strategy you could do. I thought I'd try something different and start on the hards this time. Everyone else seemed to start on the mediums. So, end of the race, I managed to get the pace over the hard runners. The key for that, I think, was staying out of trouble at the start. Not get caught up in any battles and just lose all that time. Luckily, I managed to avoid that.
Yeah, definitely did. Is that why you went for the hard tyres at the start of the race? Were you thinking, if I go on the mediums, I might waste them getting stuck on battles? Whereas later on, if I'm on the mediums, yeah, at least I'm in some clear air and I can use them better?
Yeah, that was the plan. Because I know the Sylvia's, it's not great off the line. So I thought, if I start on the mediums, I'll have a potentially bad start and then get stuck behind the people that had a better start than me, obviously. But then I thought, if I start on the hards, yes, I'll still have that bad start, but I can still maintain my pace and not get caught up in any battles. Yeah,
that definitely worked out well for you. You've done you've had fantastic improvement this season. Obviously, started off, I believe, in a different car. I believe you were in the, was it the Jaguar you were in at the start of the season?
Yep, started in the Jaguar, didn't go quite well.
Obviously, things went much better in the Nissan.
Yeah, exactly. Thank God for the rule change, where I was able to change the cars.
How would you rate your season overall then? Because obviously, big improvements coming towards the end of the season, battling with some very quick drivers. Happy with the improvements you've made?
Last 2 rounds, absolutely. Obviously, all the other rounds have just been one big massive disaster for me this season. The constant disconnections, not able to start some races because I had issues with my PS5. Decided to turn itself off mid-races. Thankfully that issue seems to have stopped now. But overall, I would probably rate the season to be a 5 out of 10. Ignoring the past 2 rounds, I've drove like crap most of the season. I was pushing too hard. I thought I'll tone it back a bit, see what happens.
Yeah, certainly proved to be the best tactic for you. Well, congratulations on the win, Jamie. We'll let you head off.
Thank you.
And coming home in 3rd place for the 2nd time this season, his best result in the dry conditions was Mick Mark. And Mick, in the end, the medium tyres just proving to be too strong on Jamie's car towards the end of that race for you. Mick, you are on mute. I don't seem to be able to get hold of Mick at the moment. He is muted. We'll see if we can ping him and get him to unmute himself while we are waiting for that one. While we're waiting for that one, has been a sneak preview of what is coming next season, of course. You can see a Ferrari on that thumbnail. It's going to be seeing a lot more Ferraris next season, of course. It is going to be a very short little tryout of something a bit different heading in towards next season, the Fezerfest. It's going to be 3 rounds to finish off 2022, so make sure to join that one over 3 weeks, 1 make series, all in the Gr.4 458 Italia. Sign-ups open on the 8th of November, tier placements are on the 18th of November, and then round 1 will be starting in 4 weeks' time, so make sure to check that one out. It seems like, unfortunately, we have had a few... Fortunately, we've had a few technical issues, so we'll see if we can get Mick to... Might be able to work our way around this, because would be interested to see someone who obviously had a slightly different strategy. Mick starting on the hard tyres, and then, well, starting on the medium, sorry, and then going to a set of hards, and I think struggling with those mediums later on. We'll try this one more time. Mick, can you hear us? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this is... Doesn't seem like this is going to work, unfortunately. Oh well, we tried our best, unfortunately. A few technical issues, clearly, between myself and Mick on that one, but... That is the end of this stream, and that is the end of this season in Tier 2. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining in. Thanks for all your participation over the season. As we've said, make sure to check out the PSGL channel for all the races past, present, and in the future. We've still got the Crossplay Cup coming up. Keep you entertained on Tuesday night, and Season 32 on F1 will be starting very shortly indeed in the next couple of weeks across the PC and the PlayStation platform. But for myself, thanks so much to the drivers for some fantastic racing this season. Thanks so much for everyone for being so engaged in chat, and we will see you in 4 weeks' time for the Fezerfest. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and goodbye.